Acknowledge me.
Leveled by Marvin Constant, the redshirt freshman out of Tuscaloosa.
Oh, they go by now. Let him know he don't want to die. 65 yards as the ball was brought away from the line of scrimmage. Gerald Dixon.
Hey, you forgot to see my book. And proper.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Your favorite night of the week is officially able to go. The Bama Standard is now live for everyone. Hey, football season is 18 days away. Alabama kicks off in Tallahassee at that time, and we're going to get you ready every step of the way. And, of course, we'll be here to guide you throughout the season. Before we get started, I need everyone to do a few things for us. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, let us hear from you tonight. Let's get rowdy. Get some questions in. We're going to bring we'll bring all those up towards the end of the show. So get them in. I'll pin them. If you're watching the replay, we still need you to participate. Get in the comment section below. Show us some love. Let us know what you think. But right now, I got to introduce my very talented cast. Headlined by the star of the show, Steve Brown, 1999 All-SEC linebacker, Marvin Constant, and a man who is never short of words, and he is the king of the strip in Tuscaloosa. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of the Bama Standard with Daniel Pettey.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here, man. Just wanted to sport my new look.
Love it. Well, listen, This is a show where we bring on legends, and we got one in the building. He was the #1 pro-style quarterback in his class. He kind of led to one of the most successful classes of Coach Saban's tenure. He balled out, helped us get to a national championship, and took a journey that we're all going to learn about. But more importantly, he's here to hang with us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Phillip Sims. What is going on, brother?
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. Been a long time coming. I know we've been trying to get this done for a while. So I'm glad that we finally got it done. Glad to be here. Looking forward to talking about some ball.
Absolutely, man. Well, Pettey, before we get started, we got to let folks know who helps us keep the lights on. And we got a very important sponsor. Would you mind telling folks who that is and how they can make them a part of their lives?
Yeah, here we go. This is for Marvin.
Have you ever dreamed about having real rock stone in your home? Visit Lamstone Company, Alabama's oldest and most trusted stores for all your stone needs. Located in Aniana, Alabama, they deliver anywhere, baby, in this country. Just make sure you have your money right, and they're going to get that product to you. If you want that 10% discount, use the code STANDARD, baby, and roll tide.
I like it better when Pettey does it.
Wow, Pettey, you changed. How'd you throw your voice like that?
I didn't know I got a little better tan and more muscular, but what do you know?
Pettey, I like it better. I like it a whole lot better when Pettey does it. Yeah.
Look, Marvin's got that fire out. What can I say?
It was awful.
We're going to have to talk to our promotional team about that for sure.
I feel like we just had a wrestling promo, and like I was the tag team partner for like someone like Macho Man or Hulk, and I tried to come in and talk, and then that it just didn't happen.
Hey, Lamstone Company for all your real rock stone needs, baby.
Let it go.
Aniana, Alabama. Home of Lamar Russell.
Let it go.
Pettey, if you could you do it the right way, please? But the folks want to hear you.
Well, we've already passed that. So what we got to do? Let's get to the meat of things. People came here to see the guest, and they also came to talk about a few hot topics before we get to his story. Of course, the hottest topic right now is that Kalen DeBoer has revealed probably the worst kept secret in college football. Ty Simpson, as we've been saying all along, is indeed the starter for your Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Cannot be more excited. This is a man that has waited his turn. I know that's foreign, right? We don't really hear about that these days, but let me make it clear. He didn't get this starting position because he waited his turn. He put in the work. He has raised his level of play. He has the weapons around him. They're helping him get it done. They're spending time with him. If you look on social media, every time he's somewhere, they're with him. The offense is operating at a much higher level. The ball placement is unbelievable. Ryan Grubb is salivating right now because he can open up the playbook, and you got a quarterback and a play caller that can really make it work, make this offense develop into what we thought it would be. So, guys, I need to hear from you. And what better person to start us off than the man who is the founder of the Ty Train, Steve Brown. And then we go to Daniel Pettey and up to Marvin Constant. And then we'll let Phil Sims, since he is one of the best to ever do it, give his ultimate thoughts on Ty. And let's go, gentlemen.
Hey, man, listen, first off, I've been on board. Justin, you know this. Petty, you know this. I've been on board. I believe in the next man up theory, man. And I think we're about to relive another Mac Jones situation, man. And Kevin DeBoer is like, we don't need him to win the game. We just need him to do what he do. And I'm so happy for him, man. Like I was happy for Jalen Milroe, even though Jalen didn't quite pan out like we thought that he should have. But I think Ty has the intangibles. He's worked, and I think he is ready for the moment. And all I got to say is Manning, boy, who? We got Ty, and I'm on the Ty train. Marvin. Yeah, Marvin, Marvin and the other guy, Smoke, rest is, get him.
Okay.
But yeah, they wasn't bought on Ty. But I'm on the Ty train, and I'm next to the conductor. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Roll Ty.
All right.
Roll Ty.
Roll Ty. Petty.
There it is.
Yeah. I hear your thoughts, brother.
I'm glad you brought Manning up. We said it before the show. Like the secret was out of the bag after the Manning Academy. You don't send backups to the Manning Academy. That's where you send your starter to get his final grooming before the season. And so it was kind of obvious that Ty was the man at that point. Look, I know everybody's excited. Everybody gets excited about the backups, the shiny new toys or whatever. But look, and I know one of them has a high ceiling, but it is Ty's time. I think he's going to have great command of the offense. I think it's going to be the offense Alabama fans expected to see when they hired DeBoer, just because it fits. He's going to fit this system a little more. I think the offensive weapons are there. I think Bama fans are going to be pleasantly surprised by what Ty is able to do within this offense this year. Look, Raven reviews, speaking of the Manning Academy, when he was down there, I mean, he shined, and I think that his arm was better than expected. It sans the goofy clip that came out that everybody lost their mind on and don't really know what they were looking at. Look, man, I'm excited for Ty. I think, again, waiting your turn's not the worst thing in the world in this day and age. The Mac comparison's been made a billion times, but it is what it is. Kid's got his turn. I think we're going to see a different offense this year. I'm excited about it. I'm with you, Steve. I'm on the Ty train, baby.
That's two of us. Let's go. Hey, Justin. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Marvin, go ahead. Let's get your thoughts in, brother. Where have you kind of felt this was leading until the announcement was made? I mean, it was obvious, right?
Oh, boy.
I mean, what is there really to talk about when it comes to this point? We all knew who the starting quarterback was going to be, so this is not a shock to anyone. We all knew going into the spring who the starter was going to be. We knew in the summer during 7-on-7s who the starter was going to be. We knew during fall camp who the starter was going to be. We knew at the Michigan game last year who the starter was going to damn be.
I tell you what, Marvin. Let's do this on this show right now. I say Ty's gonna put up better numbers than Manning. I'm going there. Now, what type of wager would you like to put up?
No, because I hope he does.
Hold on.
Because so goes the quarterback, so goes the offense and the team. So hell, why would I bet against my damn team?
I tell you what, if you was on this Manning train. If Manning does better than Ty, I'll wear a dress.
You do that anyway on the runs. So that's nothing new. But here's the thing about it. I want Ty to do well. I just don't criticize quarterbacks on our team. Now, if it's an opponent's quarterback, hell yeah, I'll go drag his ass through the mud. I don't talk about our own quarterback because I understand what playing quarterback at the University of Alabama means, what it does, the pressure that comes with it. And not everybody can live up to that damn pressure and that hype, man. So I don't want to be someone who adds to the misery of a kid who's just doing the thing that he loves to damn do.
If Ty does better than Manning, what are you?
I'm not betting on this. I need him to do well.
That's right. So Ty goes, Alabama follows suit. So let's talk. Phil, it's your turn. The expert here, the quarterback on the panel. When you speak, people can actually listen, not to take away from any of the other guys on this panel, but you've got some experience, right? Ty Simpson, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Your immediate thoughts as Ty has been named the starter. Like I said yesterday, he's got weapons all around him. The receiving core on paper right now looks to be one of the best Alabama's had in quite some time. The offensive line is what you need. The running backs got a stable of those who are really making some noise right now in fall practice, and they might actually get some touches this year. We'll have a balanced offense, but I've said enough. Phil, what's your ultimate take on Ty Simpson being named a starter?
I think that, like he said, what was expected happened. I think anybody that has watched Bama has listened to the coaches, the players, anybody around the program has heard and understood that Ty Simpson was the leading candidate for this job. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. I think he's handled the process amazing. I think he's waited his time. He's put in the work. The team seems to respect him. They're excited about Russell. No doubts about it. They are excited about what's to come with Russell at quarterback. But right now it's Ty's time. And I think the team, they're looking forward to winning a national championship and competing for a national championship this year. Mm-hmm. And Ty puts them in the best position to do so. Like you said, a lot with the Manning Academy. You don't send the backup to the Manning Academy. That was a tip, like you guys said. But I think the team has known and has said this for a while without saying it. Now I think Ty is set up to have success. I think the offense is set up to have success. I think the bigger questions are, can we be more balanced this year? That's going to take a lot off Ty's plate. Decision-making is going to play a huge role into how well he plays this season and how well the offense looks this year. But Ty is a better fit for the traditional DeBoer Grubb system than Jalen was last year. Jalen was the best quarterback for the University of Alabama last season because of the things that were going on, some youth, some inexperience, a lot of the transition in culture. Jalen had to be the quarterback last year. He was the steadying hand, not from just a quarterback perspective, but from a leadership perspective. Mm-hmm. So he had to be the guy last year. It's Ty's time now. I think Ty's learned from Jalen, from guys in front of him, from how to lead these guys, how to be the guy, not just a guy, but the guy. I think he's learned that. Now it's up to DeBoer and Grubb to put him in position to be the guy on Saturdays.
So question, Mike. So Keelan Russell. Now, obviously, from all accounts, he is I would say, the most talented quarterback, even though he's not ready. Do you think it would be probable, or do you think it'll be a good idea to try to get him on the field this year so he won't walk?
Absolutely. I think he does need to play this year. I don't think it's necessarily to combat him leaving. Mm-hmm. I think the best way to combat him leaving is communication. To communicate with him throughout this process, throughout the competition, to continue to communicate with him now that Ty has been named the starter. This is our plan for you this season. Mm-hmm. This is how we plan to make sure you're the guy and you're ready to go when your time comes. Communication is key in this situation. If he's communicated with, and if he and his family are satisfied with the plan that the staff has in place for him, then he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's very few places that put you in a position like being the starting quarterback at the University of Alabama. There are very few schools that can put you in that spotlight and give you that opportunity for the next level and to set you up career-wise. Very few places. So to leave doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the best decision, especially if it's just for playing time. Mm-hmm. That can always be eradicated down the line. You're going to get your chance. But right now, communication and having a plan for that kid is going to set him up and set Bama up for the next 4 to 5 years.
Right.
That
Phil, I got a question
that
a
lot of people don't consider when looking at the transfer portal and quarterbacks. Quarterback is that one unique position that you better be very damn careful before you hit the portal, because that receiver, hey, you might be running 2, 3 wide, 4, 5 wide receivers a play. You might be using 2, 3 running backs a play. You might be using 5, maybe 6 linemen per play, depending upon the packages. Same with the defensive line. Linebackers, you're going to be using 3, 4, maybe 5 DBs.
Yeah.
3,
Petey was
maybe
about to say
5.
something.
So with that, understand this: there's only one ball. So as a quarterback, you only have one shot to get on the field. So you got to be mindful where you go, because again, it ain't like you're going to have multiple opportunities to get on that field like you would at most positions. There's only one shot at quarterback.
Petty?
How much, Phil, and this especially goes with you. You were a 5-star recruit, and you want this from your quarterback. You know, Keelan came in thinking, I'm coming in here to play some ball. How much self-realization do you still have, though? And you could even hear Coach DeBoer talking about it in his press conference. He was talking about inside the huddle. You know, part of being a quarterback's command of the offense, command of the playbook, command of the team. And he said, look, Keelan, if you listened in his presser, Keelan's still learning how to call a play in the huddle.
Right.
So even as much as like, hey, I'm going to be the man, there's got to be some self-actualization, right? Where you look around and say, damn, Ty's out there. It looks a little bit smoother, and I'm tripping over the playbook. Does that, I mean, as a player, does that play in? Like, okay, man. And that, which to kind of go to Steve, does that kind of help you like, all right, man, I don't have to play right now. I can get this for a year and then get my turn.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like you said, I was one of those guys that when I came in day one, I wanted to play. No doubt about it. That's the competitor in us. We all want to be on the field. Nobody wants to be a backup, especially when you're a 4 or 5-star guy. It's been a long time since you sat on anybody's bench. So it's a tough adjustment. It takes self-reflection. I absolutely knew that I wasn't ready to start for the University of Alabama when I got there. I knew that. It took some time. I had to be shown that, because we all think we the best thing since sliced bread. So I had to be shown that through reps. But there's some self-reflection, and your time's going to come. You're going to get your opportunity. Just because you don't get it when you want it doesn't mean that you're not going to get it. That just means that you weren't ready for the opportunity that you want. And that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. He is going to be just fine. I don't want anybody to doubt his talents because he's not the day one starter as a true freshman. There are 50 guys in the country that are going to be day one starters as freshmen this season. It don't happen often, especially at quarterback, especially at Alabama, especially in the SEC, especially when your goal and your expectation is to compete for national championships. Not many freshmen put you in a position to win a national championship.
So, question: What do you see? What do you see from Ty this year? Because I see I see the offense opening up big time, and then I think a lot of people want to see him as what you call a game manager, but to me, I think he has the skills to really go do more than just be a game manager.
That game manager tag really irks my nerves.
Yeah, mine too.
I hate it. I hate it more than anything in sports, because as a quarterback, your first and foremost job is to manage the game. That is your job. Like, that's a quarterback's job, to manage a game. If you call me a game manager, thank you. I'm going to make a lot of money playing this game. That's just what it is. My expectations for Ty, a lot. I've heard the Mac Jones comparison a lot, and I hate it. I hate it. I think Mac Jones did a hell of a job as a starting quarterback at Alabama. More of a comparison that I see, and this is the biggest note of respect that I can give somebody, is he's more A.J. McCarron to me. He's more A.J. From a personality standpoint, from a skill set standpoint, what he brings to the table. I'm not saying he's A.J., because in my honest opinion, A.J.'s top 3, top 4 quarterbacks that ever played at Alabama.
He's a clean cut. He's a clean cut A.J.
Yeah,
a faster AJ.
Kind of, sort of, to be honest. So I think that's what we're hoping to get. That's my expectation from a leadership standpoint and from a statistical standpoint. Ty is going to be a guy that we can rely on not to lose us football games. He's also a guy that's going to make the sneaky plays that nobody's going to see coming.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did we watch AJ play and AJ made something happen and we like, where the hell did that come from? Mm-hmm. I know I said it a few times and I'm standing on the sideline watching it myself. So that's my expectation. I see Ty leading this team. Leadership's the biggest thing with this team. Yeah. I truly believe so. The talent is there.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the leaders on this team? Not the rah-rah leaders, not the guys that are making the speeches, but the guys everybody follows their actions. Yeah. That's who we need to keep our eyes on.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Great stuff. I hate that we have to kind of wrap that part up, but my gosh, there's no better way to do it than what you just did, Phil. So we greatly appreciate that. But we brought you on here to talk about you. I hope you don't mind that. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift to your time at Alabama, and we're going to kind of go through each part of your journey and kind of really dig deep and find out, exactly how it played out, and then what you learned from it, and then how you're able to use your lessons to mentor the youth that you're around. We talked a little bit about that before we got on air, but I want to start us out. Then I'll turn it over to Marvin, then to Steve, then to Daniel down there. We talked a little bit about your recruiting. Alabama was not even on your radar, and you kind of brushed aside, like you say, it was just an SEC school at that time. It wasn't the giant that it is today. But you went down there that your whole world got turned upside down. I'd like to have you, for the fans who are watching now and missed our conversation before, tell them how your world got turned upside down and then why it was a fit. And I read also, you said this was arguably the best locker room that you've ever been a part of. You named players like Marquise Mays and Mark Barron and Darius Hanks. So if you would, can you talk about all that, and then we'll let Marvin go after that?
Absolutely. As far as it goes with me coming to Bama, man, it was kind of, like I said, I didn't see myself. To be honest, I couldn't see myself. I never pictured myself wearing anybody's uniform. I grew up a Florida State fan. My dad was a Florida State fan. Back to those Peter Warrick and Chris Winkie and Travis Minor days. So it was always a dream of mine to get an offer from Florida State, Bobby Bowden, things like that. But outside of that, I never really had a favorite team growing up. I never really, I think when I go to college, I'm going to go to such and such school. It never crossed my mind. I never saw myself being in a position to be able to do that. My dad had a quote in the newspaper when I was a senior in high school, and it says, "You never raise your son to be the #1 quarterback in the country." And I didn't understand it. I didn't know what he meant until years later. And now I get it. There's no way for you to understand or know what's coming your way when you become that person, that guy. It kind of just happens. Bama was one of the first 10 schools to offer me in the 9th grade. Coach Saban had just finished up his first year at Bama. So it wasn't like, oh, my God, the giant monster, the dynasty has offered me a scholarship. At the time, it was like, okay, add it to the list of schools, and I'll think about it in a year or two. And then my sophomore year, I started taking some visits, started going to schools, Georgia, Clemson, West Virginia, places like that. And I was like, okay, now I know what to kind of expect. To be honest with you, I know this is going to hurt a lot of people. I actually grew very fond of Georgia. Fell in love. Coach Rick, Coach Bobo, Coach Tony Ball was my recruiter. Fell in love with Georgia and actually committed to Georgia as a 10th grader. And
you didn't tell anybody. Yourself.
Right.
And I didn't tell anybody. Like, it was known around the school. I would wear Georgia T-shirts at school, but I didn't tell any media. Didn't tell anybody. And a couple of months later, Georgia had 2 quarterbacks commit, Aaron Murray and Zach Mattenberger. So Coach Ball called me and said, hey, I love you. We still love you. We still want you. But I got to be honest with you. I don't know how smart it is for you to come in a year after these two guys are coming in. He said that it's not very smart. He said, now, if you still want to come, we still want you. But I just don't see you at the end of the day wanting to still come to us after we've taken two quarterbacks. And I said, I appreciate that. I can respect that. So I kind of opened everything back up. And it kind of just, to be honest, Bama we kind of just meshed. Coach Sal was my recruiter. Actually, Coach Signetti was initially my recruiter. And Coach Sal came on board. He took over. And me and Coach Sal just hit it off. Like, that is my guy. To the end of the world, Coach Sal, I'll be honest, Coach Sal is the reason I went to Alabama. Our relationship was like no other relationship I had through that process. We talk weekly, daily, about any and everything. That's kind of what started the initial interest. Then I got to my junior year, and my high school coach, Coach Morgan, took a visit down to Bama for the coaching clinic. And I had planned an unofficial visit a few weeks later. And when he went and he came back, he said, man, you are going to fall in love. He said, you're going to love that place. When you go, you're not going to want to come back. I'm telling you right now. And I was like, nah, I don't want to hear it. And he had never taught me and my coach. He never tried to steer my recruitment. He never talked about schools. He stayed out of it. So to hear him come to me with that information, it was kind of like, this is different. So I took the visit a couple weeks later and had a ball. Just enjoyed myself, enjoyed being around the coaches. And I remember sitting in a meeting with Coach Mack. We were just going over some film, going over a concept, kind of just teaching me basics of the system. And I remember saying, this is it. I remember saying it. And we finished the meeting. Me and my dad went out to the car for a while just to talk. And I told him, I said, hey, when we go back inside, I'm going to commit. And I had told everybody, I'm not committing early. I'm going to wait till the All-American game to do it on TV and make all the announcements and all that kind of stuff. And I remember telling him, I said, when I go back inside, I'm committing and I'm shutting it down. I said, I'm tired. I said, I'm tired of the process. I've been dealing with it since I was 13, 14 years old as a freshman in high school. I was over it. I was tired of the calls, the visits, everything. And I said, why am I waiting to tell the world where I'm going if I already know? If I know the answer to the test, I better write it down. So we went back inside, we sat down, and Coach Mack started talking again. And I said, hold on, Coach. I said, before you go any further, I got something that I think I need to tell you. And he kind of looked at me, kind of worried, like, what's going on? And I said, Coach, I'm coming to University of Alabama. And I remember him taking off down the hallway to go get Coach Sal and get Coach Saban and brought them back into the quarterback meeting room. And we laughed and we joked. And then we went out to get something to eat. And then the next day I got on the road and drove back to Virginia.
There you go. Marvin.
Well, we all know quarterbacks are divas. Hands down.
He opens
we
with
all
that.
Know that. We all know that. Now, you add into that being the number one player in the country. Like myself personally, coming out of high school, my sophomore year, I had over 25 Division I offers. I was one of the top players in the country as well. So I understand the pressure that comes along with that. And being a quarterback, being the diva that you are as a quarterback. Okay?
Spoken like a true linebacker, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Killing me. Just killing me.
I'm just saying.
Welcome to the show.
The pressure of playing in Tuscaloosa is like none other. So as a star quarterback coming out of high school, top player in the country, when things don't go the way you think they're going to go at Alabama, how did you deal with that adversity? And what was the outcome of it?
Wow.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. To be honest.
And tell the truth, because we all know quarterbacks are
absolutely. One thing for sure, two things for certain, I'm a straight shooter. I can't BS you. To be honest, initially I was angry, pissed off, furious for. It didn't make sense to me. For the longest, I was angry at everybody and everything involved with the process. It took me a little while to get over it, to be honest. And to be honest, it probably took years to get over it. I was long gone from the University of Alabama before I completely got over that situation. It is one of the most frustrating and embarrassing situations that you'll ever go through. Being on national TV, being under the spotlight, all season long, nothing but quarterback competition at the University of Alabama. A.J. McCarron, Phillip Sims. That's all you heard. So for the outcome not to work in your favor was very embarrassing because you never see that happening. You never envision yourself losing in anything. We're competitors at nature. You never see yourself losing. So it was embarrassing. And it takes you to a place where you're not yourself. You don't want to be around people. You want to do the bare minimum. To be honest, you just want to do what you got to do and get out. I'll see you guys tomorrow when it's time to meet and go to practice. But I will say I had a great group of guys on that team, great group of guys in that locker room, and they made it very apparent that it was more to me than just being the starting quarterback. They respected me not only as a quarterback, respecting my talents, but they respected me. So they made it easy to be around them. There was never an uncomfortable situation in the locker room. And another part of it was me and AJ's relationship. Everybody thought we hated each other. They thought we were at odds. They thought we couldn't stand each other. I'll tell you a quick story about me and AJ.
Oh, yeah.
When the tornado hit, I was still living in Bryant, still living in the dorm. And we got notified that if you were not a local kid, if you weren't going to stay around locally, summer break, they were letting us out early. They wanted us to get out of the dorms and get to going where we were going, go home, because they were going to use the dorms for those that needed it. So I didn't have little to no money in my pocket at the time. So AJ, we were texting or talking. I forgot what the situation was. We were checking on everybody, and everybody was just making sure everybody was okay. And AJ was like, when you leaving to go back home? And I said, man, it's going to be a couple days. I got to scrape up some money to get some gas and all that kind of stuff. He said, oh, all right. He said, you at Bryant? I said, yeah. He said, I'm heading that way in a few minutes to come check on some guys. I'll call you when I'm outside. I said, okay. AJ pulls up to the dorm, and AJ gave me gas money to come back to Virginia.
Wow. That's
awesome. Our relationship. That's what me and AJ had. It wasn't just about the quarterback battle. We were cool. We were friends. Like, there was no ill will, no hate towards each other. We competed on the field. We competed when it was time to go. But when it wasn't, when we clocked out, AJ was like an older brother. Like, he was older than me. He had been there for a year. So I kind of, in a way, looked up to AJ as much as you can look up to somebody you're competing against. So that made it a lot easier because there wasn't any hate. There wasn't malice. There wasn't, ha-ha, I beat you, ha-ha. That never existed. And to be honest, that's the reason we won a national championship that year, because it wasn't just about who won the quarterback battle. It was about the locker room. It was about the guys in that locker room and supporting each other and being there for each other. There was no hate on that team.
A lot of people don't understand locker room dynamics and what that truly does for a team. And, one of my closest friends was Victor Ellis, who was my backup. And, we came in together. He played as a freshman. I got redshirted. I was angry as hell like you. So I made it my business to go out there and unleash, unholy hell on the offense every day in practice while I was on scout team. And I ended up starting the next year, and Victor was my backup. But we were roommates on the road, and we grew to be very close friends. And despite the fact that I was a starter, he was a backup, that never impacted our relationship. We took classes together. We had dinner together. So a lot of people don't understand the brotherhood. Again, when you're on the field, that's business. Off the field, These are your brothers.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I know Victor Ellis. Victor Ellis was better than you. Listen, so so Phil, did you ever regret leaving them?
No. Reason being, my rationale, my reasoning for leaving wasn't all about football.
Right.
And that was the misconception that a lot of people had. Like I told, like I said earlier before we got on air, a lot of fans they look at guys transferring and everybody assumes it's football and money,
Right.
and that's not always the dynamic. And in my situation, my dad was sick. He had just gotten a diagnosis. And that was a huge part of my decision. That was the biggest part of my decision. There was actually a meeting, me, my dad, and Coach Saban, before the decision was final that I was going to leave. And Coach Saban had even offered for me to take the summer off, to kind of go home and help with my dad's health situation, take some time to get my head where it needed to be. And at the time, I appreciated the offer. But I couldn't put a Band-Aid on the situation.
Right.
Me taking a couple months, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what that time was going to do. I didn't know if that would help, if that would make it harder for me to come back. I just didn't have the answers.
Hey, Phil.
Yes.
But Virginia?
So
it's close in the house. It's close in the house.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if it was in your backyard. It is still Virginia.
We'll get to that part.
So
the Barbers play.
I'll kind of touch on that a little bit. So the decision to go to Virginia is at the time was the closest Division I FBS program to my house.
Makes sense.
Say that again.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Old Dominion had just started their program, I think, a year before that. So they had just kind of returned. UVA was the closest to home. UVA had a coach in Mike London who was from my area of Tidewater, Virginia. A black man that I respected. I had met him before. We had talked. Virginia was never in the picture recruiting me coming out of high school. And he didn't get the job until my senior year of high school. So that he didn't have a chance to kind of reel me back in,
right,
to keep me home. But the relationship we had was really good. My dad actually had his surgery at Charlottesville Hospital, which is where University of Virginia is. So that was a huge reason why UVA was the place. My dad actually lived with me when I went to UVA. A lot of people didn't know that. My dad lived with me in my apartment. So from the time that I got to UVA to the time I left, my dad was there every single day. After his surgeries, after everything, we were together. So that was the biggest reason. And of course, when you add in the football side of things, UVA had just had a really successful year for their standards at the time. Mm-hmm. They played Auburn in the Peach Bowl the year before I went. Mm-hmm. So they had a successful season. They felt that their quarterback situation could be better. Michael Rocco did a good job the year before, but they had higher expectations. They wanted to go further. And with my dad's health situation, there was a chance that the NCAA would grant me a waiver that I wouldn't have to sit out the following year.
Right.
So it kind of just made sense in an all-around aspect from my family situation to the on-the-field situation. And like I said earlier, when it came to the quarterback competition at Bama, I was still kind of angry with that competition. I felt like I lost a year of playing. So I didn't want to have to go in a situation where I was going to have to lose another year. But so with the chances of the waiver coming to fruition, it just made sense.
But Phil, it's Virginia.
Dude,
there had to be people to block for you. There had to be receivers who actually catch the passes you were throwing.
You said there had to be people to block for me.
And wide receivers to actually catch these passes.
We had a really young group of receivers that year at UVA. We had a really young group of receivers. Offensive line wise, we were supposed to be at the top of the ACC. Both of my tackles, I believe, are still playing in the NFL. Morgan Moses was one of my tackles, and O'Day Abouche, who played guard for the Jets and the Baltimore Ravens and a couple other teams. Those were my two starting tackles. We were looked at as a team that had a lot of potential that year. And we were just very, very, I don't think we understood how young we were. At the time, I'm looking at this, I'm like, why aren't we where we thought we would be? And then I look around the locker room, I'm like, he's never played. We were very, very young and inexperienced, and it hurt. Coming from Bama, where you were used to, even with young guys, you were used to a certain standard and a certain productivity. It was rough taking those lumps and bumps. And, I mean, I didn't have all the playing experience. I had redshirted, and then I played, 6-7 games at Bama, my redshirt freshman. So I didn't have a lot of experience. The guy that I was trying to replace had the experience. He understood the system better than me. I was more talented, but he had the reps in the system. He had all those things. So it was kind of like, we're talented. We can get there, but it's going to take us a little while to get there. And I think the losing frustrated everyone, and those were the setbacks. Not the immaturity, more so the losing caused the frustration, which caused us to lose focus on what we were actually doing, which was getting better.
That's what's up. Pettey.
Charlottesville's also home of the greatest band on the planet, Marvin, the Dave Matthews Band. So there's another reason. And Marvin, do you have a black ski mask to go with that black shirt? Because you just been robbing me all night. You robbed me of my thunder on the ad. Then you robbed my question. So I have to now tailor-made my question a little bit. But
the guns always win, Petty.
Look, you put that black bazooka down. I got the pale pea shooter right here, buddy. Look. So I will tailor it a little bit. Like, we make plans in life, and what's the old saying? We make plans and God laughs. You sign with Alabama. Well, that's the plan. Well, it didn't go that way. You end up at Virginia and then Winston-Salem State. But you did ultimately get a chance in the league as an undrafted free agent. What lesson did you learn from all that? Because then you became a high school coach in Virginia. We were talking about that before, and that's what you've been doing the last several years of your life. What lesson do you parlay from that? Hey man, you set these plans; they don't always work out through all that adversity. What's the biggest lesson you learned, or that you tell kids from that?
It's not what happens to you; it's how you respond to it. A lot has happened in my career, good, bad, and indifferent. Some I'm proud of, some not as much. Some great, some awful. Some that allowed me to live out a lifelong dream of playing in the NFL. Some that ended my career. So good things are going to happen throughout your journey. Bad things are going to happen throughout your journey. It's how you respond to it, man. It's really about what are you willing to do to make sure that what you've been through isn't what you continue to go through. And that was kind of the thing for me. I'd probably say the situation at UVA was the most embarrassing of my entire career. From the time I picked up a football when I was 4 or 5 years old to the time that I put it down. Being suspended from the University of Virginia, being plastered on ESPN. I mean, literally, I think maybe a week before the suspension became public, I was on the cover of a college football magazine in a UVA uniform as they talked about the ACC quarterbacks for the upcoming season. So to see that play out in real time, that was very, very embarrassing. And not only for me, Like I tell my players, don't ask me all the time what was it like playing in the NFL. Don't ask me what it was like playing in Alabama. Ask me what it was like to lose it all. If you want a true lesson, don't ask me about the good, because the true fact of it is 99.9% of the kids that I've ever coached will never make it to where I made it. So what does it matter what it was like to play in the NFL? What does it matter what it was like to play at Alabama? The odds are chances are that you're never going to make it to either. Ask me what it was like to lose it all. Ask me what that was like, my parents having to go to work and their sons on TV for getting suspended from school. And it ain't like when you in high school and get suspended for a day for fighting, where your coach knows about it, the teachers know about it, the people in the school know about it. Ask me what it was like for the entire world to know that you were suspended from school, regardless of the situation. Nobody actually knew what I was being suspended for. And to be honest, 99% of people today still don't know.
So what
I
were you
don't care.
suspended for?
Hold on. Do you care? No, you just not gonna just ask the man like that, Marvin. Like this, not like this. Like you on what's called it? Those people that be, whatever. But anyway, do you care to talk about it?
Yeah,
that's a better respectful way, because I'm gonna start the show. Go ahead. Yeah. Would you like to talk about it? Would you like to harp on it? Would you like to expound?
Yeah, I'll touch on it.
You're in a safe place.
Yeah.
So it was made public that I was being suspended for academic reasons, and when people say that, they automatically assume, oh, he flunked out, and that was not the case. I was suspended from the University of Virginia for failure to meet degree progress. So that means I wasn't on track to graduate at the rate that I should have been. Now, the reason why that is very misleading is because when I transferred to the University of Virginia, I lost a year's worth of credits.
Dang.
So failure to meet degree progress was, if you were a smart person, you would have saw it coming. There were no, he's not doing this. I went to school year round when I got to UVA. I started school in July. I went first semester. When everybody went home for Christmas break, I was there for J term. I took a class over Christmas break. I started second semester, and I was in summer school again when I was suspended. So I went to school year round. But there was no way to make up the credits that I lost, as well as keep up with the credits that I was taking. It just wasn't going to happen.
Well, Phil, I appreciate you letting everybody know, because they had a lot of misconceptions and all that. And since you let everybody know why you were suspended, now I'm going to take the time to let y'all know why I got suspended all those times. I wasn't going to class. I was partying. I was fighting. I was doing everything. I just didn't care about nothing. And guess what? Currently, on my job, I'm suspended. Now, Justin, you want to
two different ends of the spectrum, but they all meet as one on this show.
And don't get me wrong. Was I the model student? Absolutely not. Did I do everything that I probably should have done? Absolutely not. And that may have played a role into it as well.
Phil, you're my type of guy. You are my type of guy.
Don't get it misconstrued. I've never been the perfect student. Some people go to school. Some people go to play football. I wouldn't play football. Going to school was just something we had to do so that we could play football. Right. And I understood that. I understood it. Did I ever, in my wildest dreams, go to college thinking, oh, I'm about to get a master's degree, I'm about to get this, I'm about to have a 4.0? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wasn't the model student in high school.
Hey, listen, you got to understand something. John Deaver was our academic advisor. I don't know if John was still there when you got there.
Yes, he was.
John it was a group of us sitting there, and John hit us with that. Y'all are student athletes. And before I even realized it, my mouth opened, and I said, they might be student athletes, but I'm an athletic student. I'm here to play damn football.
Hey, man, but y'all on a different level. Y'all on a different level, because I went to middle school for Peace and Tater Tot Day.
Hey, that was a good day to go.
steak nugget day.
Phil, don't let him fool you. Marvin Constant never kept his mouth quiet. Matter of fact, the first time he is in front of the Tuscaloosa News, he says that he's going to make the linebacker ahead of him sit, and he's going to end up transferring, that he wasn't going to wait. And it got all over the front page. and the guy actually did end up transferring. So Marvin was a prophet, and he went to Florida and was never heard from again.
I did everything I said I was going to do, baby.
I'm pretty sure Alvin Mack might have been about Marvin.
Yeah.
Hey guys, some of our young viewers aren't
kill everybody.
They're not gonna get that comparison.
They won't. But real quick, we got to pause in the action because we have another great company that helps us do our thing, and that's Title Towel. Marvin, since you are the promotion king, if you would,
Marvin,
let the folks know.
Let's go.
Title Towel.
Hey, baby, listen, the 2025 season is upon us. Don't you take your ass in the Bryant-Denny Stadium without that damn Title Towel. When we up and we dominating, we better see 100,000 plus Title Towels in the air, baby, as the Crimson Tide does what they do, baby. Visit whitwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD, baby, for that discount. And again, don't you take your ass in Bryant-Denny Stadium without your Title Towel, baby. 2025 is going to be the year that we unleash a whole lot of Bama on people.
Hey, Phil.
Brought to you by Alvin Mack.
Phil, I don't think Virginia had a Title Towel. Yeah, I'm being petty.
No, they didn't. They don't have what was a Wahoo towel?
We didn't have a Title Towel.
Why you gotta say my name in vain?
To be honest, I spent much of that season at UVA trying to learn the traditions. Like I had been at Bama for 2 years, man. I was trying to learn the traditions at UVA, and man, I hate to say it, a lot of the stuff I never really got. I never really caught on. That year was kind of like I was physically there, but I wasn't. Like, to be honest, when I look back on it, there are a lot of things I don't even remember. Like, I was physically there, but I wasn't. I truly wasn't. And it won't fair to me and it won't fair to them, to be honest. I don't think anybody got out of that situation what they wanted.
You just described half my college experience at Alabama. I was physically there, but mentally, God knows.
He was there 8 years.
I remember my 2 years at Bama like yesterday, but that year at UVA, it was kind of like I don't know. I truly don't, man. It's strange.
So let's get one more round of questions. But before I do that, before we kind of wrap things up with him and get to your questions, I got to let everyone know what's coming next week. We're going to be another week closer to the opening game. So that means we got to ramp it up here, right? Well, next week, there is no better guest that can really, really ramp things up. Folks, I hope you're ready for this. Get your popcorn and everything else you need, because next week, other than Marvin Constant, he's one of the greatest linebackers in Alabama football history. Yes, folks, Reuben Foster is going to be on the Bama Standard next Tuesday night. So I need everybody to tell everybody, be here next Tuesday for Reuben Foster.
I taught him how to hit.
Way to make me feel like a little guy.
I taught him how to hit.
Well, we said linebacker. We didn't say quarterback. So, but yeah, let's go around one more time, Phil, if you don't mind, before we let the audience ask questions. I think it's kind of ironic that we talked earlier about, even though when you leave Alabama, the fans still remember you. The administration still remembers you. Heck, even Nick Saban tried to help you get your feet on the ground and navigate through all that you were going through. But there was another full circle moment when you got to the NFL, or you were trying to get to the NFL. Mm-hmm. You had all these promises that you're going to go between the 4th and the 6th round. Well, we all know how draft day plays out sometimes. It's fickle. Your agent was trying to make things happen. Well, a Bama connection got you the door opened to come to Arizona to try out. Folks, if you're not aware of this is a pretty cool story. At that time, I believe it was the quarterback's coach at Arizona, former Alabama quarterback Freddie Kitchens was there, and he said he wanted you in camp. Can you touch on that? And then we'll go to Pettey, up to Steve, and then Marvin to ask their questions.
So kind of what happened was sitting at home watching the draft, kind of just watching everything play out, and I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting antsy. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what's coming next. So there have been a few scouts that had come. I talked to a few teams, and there were some certain draft grades later in the draft, possibly priority free agent, things of that nature. And as the draft comes to a close, I was like, okay, so I didn't get drafted, so what's going to happen next? And I'm sitting there, and the phone's still not ringing. And I'm like, this isn't what I was told was going to happen. Like, what do I do? So I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm getting pissed off. Like, I kind of just walked out of the house. Like, I didn't want to be around it. I'm like, here we go again. Here we go again. So I was kind of starting to go into that place again. And my agent texted me, and he was like, Arizona wants to bring you in next week. So when I heard Arizona wants to bring you in, I'm like, okay, we made it. And he was like, it's for rookie minicamp, and it's on the tryout. And this is where, I guess, being the five-star recruit and some of those things kind of creep back into your memory, because I was like, a tryout? I went from possibly getting drafted to now I don't even get a free agent deal. I'm a tryout now? Like, I just keep falling. And he's like, hey, it's an opportunity. Right now I'm working on some other things, but let's go with this to get us started. I said, all right, whatever. So now I'm frustrated, even more so. But I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. You don't know what's going to happen. And at the time, Arizona had 4 quarterbacks already on the roster. Carson Palmer, Drew's last name, I forgot his last name. Played at Michigan State, played for the Lions.
Drew Henson?
Yes. Logan Thomas had just been drafted in the 5th round the year before. And we had another guy from Northern Illinois that played for Bruce Arians in Indy. He brought him to Arizona. Yeah. So I was like, man, there's no chance I'm getting signed. Like, no chance. They already got 4 guys. And I had no idea why Arizona wanted me to come out there. Arizona was one of the teams that I hadn't heard from. So it was a shock to even hear from them. And I had no idea why. So I go out there, and first night of rookie minicamp, the conversation comes about. And I'm in the room with Coach Kitchens, Freddie, and we're talking, and he was like, Coach Saban gave me your name. And I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, so we were making some phone calls because they didn't draft a quarterback that year, and they kind of wanted somebody to come to rookie minicamp to throw. Wasn't really a whole lot included in it, not expecting anything to come of it. But one of the calls that was made to Coach Saban. Mm-hmm. And Coach Saban gave, I don't know if it was Coach Kitchens or if it was BA. I don't know who exactly he told it to, but my name was the name Coach Saban gave him. And that's what made them call and bring me out for the rookie minicamp. And I never left. I ended up getting signed on Mother's Day at rookie minicamp.
Wow. That's what's up.
It was
a great story, man.
As much as it shocked everybody else, it probably shocked me more.
So they didn't say Coach Saban and Steve Brown. They didn't say my name.
They didn't add any other names. Coach Saban gave me your name, and I was like, I knew Coach Saban. Like, Coach Saban, it wasn't the first time he had done something on my behalf as far as my journey. My agent had this wild idea as I was going through the pre-draft process. He said, you know what? People have a lot of questions about your background, about your journey. Bama, UVA, Winston-Salem State. They got a lot of questions, NFL teams included. He said, what do you think about Coach Saban writing a letter to NFL teams on your behalf, speaking about you in a positive light? And I was like, I don't know if he going to do that. Like, me and Coach Saban always had a great relationship. Never had any bad blood between us. Like, he's always been there to support me. But I was like, that's asking a lot for him to come out and put his name on the line for me. Mm-hmm. I ain't played for Coach Saban in 3-4 years. Now, mind you, I don't have any. I've never been in trouble, anything like that. So it's not like I was a trouble kid or this, that, and the third. I never, like, that just wasn't it. So I was like, I get there are questions, but that's a lot to ask of him. He was like, well, we can try it. I said, all right, if you want to. And he reached out to Miss Linda, Coach Saban's secretary at the time. And the next thing I know, there was a letter sent to my agent and sent to myself from Coach Saban. And it was written to all 32 NFL teams.
Wow.
I was shocked. I was like, oh, I made it. I made it. Again, Coach Saban saying something positive about me. Like, I tell anybody, there's not a bad word that anybody can say to me about Coach Saban. Because not only does he take care of his players, then you're his player forever. Like, he looks out for you regardless what happens. He's had opportunity to throw people away, and he never does. Coach Saban he's the reason Bama is Bama right now at this status. Not from a success standpoint, from people wanting to play at the University of Alabama because of how he treats you, how the program treats you. If you're a Bama guy one day, you're a Bama guy forever.
Man, that's powerful.
Man, I don't know if you realize what you just put to rest. If there was ever any bad press that people tried to leak out during the Saban era, one of the things was Saban will process kids, yada, yada, yada. And maybe that's the case. Maybe some kids don't cut it. Maybe some kids transfer or whatever. But again, you just put to rest that regardless of what happens, if he touched you in any way recruiting, you don't know when, but maybe sometime down the road he's going to throw his hat in the ring for you. That was an amazing story, Phillip. That was
that was an amazing story. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Pettey. I do. But the second time I was going to jail and I needed a letter from people, I never heard from Coach Saban.
Nick never wrote one for you.
Never wrote nothing for me. So what you got to say about that, Phil? Huh?
You're not gonna put me in that situation. I'm not speaking.
I went to jail, Phil. I went to jail.
I'm not speaking on Coach Saban and what's in his head. All I know is, man, that guy looked out for a lot of guys, a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I was on the leadership panel before I left Bama.
I heard from Steelman, DeVry, ITT Tech, Shelton State. I didn't hear nothing with an Alabama letterhead on it. So I'm gonna leave that to rest.
You definitely got to take that up with some folks. Some folks fell asleep at the wheel on that one. You got to get in contact with some folks.
Well, Marvin, I'll let you have the last question before we get to the audience questions. What do you got for Phil?
All right. Being from Virginia and you end up in Alabama, what was it like for you that first time you walked out in Bryant-Denny and you knew I'm playing in this environment today?
Unreal. I was an early enrollee. I went in January. So my first experience in Bryant-Denny was A-Day. And that year, it was right. I got there a week after they won the national championship against Texas. So that was leading up to the back-to-back tour, trying to go back-to-back. So the excitement around the team, the Bama that as we knew it was back. So the atmosphere around the team and the program was insane. So going out there at 17 years old for a spring game in front of 100,000 folks was like unreal. And I make the joke all the time. I was actually telling one of the young kids I trained the other day, I said my first pass in an Alabama uniform went to Julio Jones and he dropped it. I tell the story all the time. Like, that was my introduction to Bryant-Denny Stadium. That was my introduction to SEC football as a player. And then my first actual game experience was the first time that I actually got out there against Kent State with me and AJ in the competition. And the roar of the crowd when I stepped on the field. AJ started the game and we rotated. And the first time I stepped on the field, I'll never forget that sound. That roar was insane.
Wow.
And this was at a time, I tell people, Alabama hadn't had a starting black quarterback since Andrew Zhao.
Yep.
In the early 90s.
I played with Zhao. I know.
That was the last time. So all I heard throughout the competition on social media, when I would go out to stores, when I'd go out to a bar, whatever the case was, all I heard was,
"It's a black guy.
You're going to be the first black quarterback at the University of Alabama in 20 years. That's all I used to hear. And when I walked on the field, I heard it from the crowd. I heard it. I heard their hunger. I heard their want. I heard all of it.
Wow,
That
what kind of hunger? Wait a minute. What hunger?
Denny dog.
The hunger, the optimism that a black quarterback could happen. At the time, people didn't know if it could happen at the University of Alabama. Let's be honest.
Well,
that was a huge conversation. How many times did I hear the question, why did you go to Alabama? Why? How many times?
We all know what it is at Alabama. We all know that. But at the end of the day, you go there to play football with the best of the best. And again, we understand what comes with that in certain situations. So, I don't even like to go that route sometimes because I understand that hole that you have to go into to discuss some of this. But I just know, despite everything in the background, playing in that stadium is one of the most powerful things you'll ever experience in life. The first time you hear Eli Gold say Marvin Constant on the tackle, I was like, oh! So I know, as a quarterback, you all get that same feeling because, again, there's no feeling like it, despite everything in the background, all the other noise and everything else that's going on around you.
Bar none. So, like that environment, I tell people all the time, I've seen tailgates start a day early. I ain't never seen a tailgate start a week early.
True.
I've never seen people eat Thanksgiving dinner in tents on the quad. I ain't never seen that before. Like that was new to me. I didn't know what it was like having to be escorted around campus as the backup. How many backup quarterbacks need an escort? Most people don't even know who the backup quarterback of their team is.
Well, and to that degree, Phil, like I don't think people, and Marvin, we talk about this all the time on this show because of the Saban era. A lot of players think that they've forgotten about. They only remember this great dynasty, but Bama's a dynasty in and of itself. And we were talking about this before the show. You came in kind of a lightning rod of recruiting when Saban really took off, and Bama fans went from kind of following recruiting to it kind of being a lifeblood of something you did every day. And there was that first big recruiting class that won the title against Texas, but then there was the build on, which was your class. So, man, you've never been forgotten. And I think your story is one that so many Bama fans wondered what happened. Like, you definitely are where are they now for Bama fans because you were such an integral part of that recruiting class and getting other kids to come. Man, I don't think you realize how much Bama fans appreciate you coming on tonight and going so deep, answering the tough questions that Marvin and these guys threw at you, man. It was, I don't have a question, but man, I want to give some flowers for you coming back because trust me, hand raised guy, I really wanted to know what happened because I was there. I was following it at that time when you committed to Alabama. So appreciate you, brother, for that.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Like I said, I have a level of respect for Bama. I'm a lifelong fan to this day. If you go in my office at my job, there's an Alabama flag hanging up on the wall. If anybody asks where you went to school, I went to Bama, UVA, Winston-Salem State, but I'm a Bama guy.
There you go.
I'm always. It might rub people the wrong way. Well, you don't talk about UVA or Winston-Salem State the way you talk. Yeah, because they don't mean to me what Bama has meant to me. Bama got a boy and gave back a man. I had to grow and learn how to be me at Bama. That was a part of my life that I can't escape. That shaped me. So I'm forever indebted and grateful to the University of Alabama, to Coach Saban, to Coach Sal, to Coach Mack, to everybody, my teammates, Nudie, Jolston Fowler, DeMarcus Milner, John Fulton, my first 3 roommates, my road dog, Julio, Hanks, Mays, all those guys, Cyrus Quanjo, Ari Quanjo, the DMV guys. We had a little connection there. We were from DC, Maryland, Virginia. So the stories, the guys, the everything, man. I'm not here today if it's not for Bama, and I'll tell anybody that.
All right, so my question to you is this. We talked about the reception, how great the fans were and all that. That's all good and well. But my question to you is, and what a lot of people really want to know is, Dreamland or Archibald and Woodrow's? Which one is it? Which one was it?
Toughest question tonight.
So that's a hard question for me because I don't eat pork. All right.
Oh man.
I ain't had pork since I was 13.
Hey, this interview was nothing, boy. It's over. It's over.
It's being pulled.
I ain't had pork since I was 13. I'll be 33 on Friday. So 20 years I ain't had swine.
You be 30. You be 33.
I'll be 33 on Friday.
I'll be 35. That's what's up.
Yeah, y'all should have a joint party.
So that's a tougher question for me, but I've had both. I've had the chicken from both. I'm going Archibald's.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
When it comes to the chicken, I gotta go Archer. I can't tell you about the pork sandwich, but when it comes to the chicken, I gotta go Archibald's.
Okay.
You gotta remember, I'm from Virginia. I'm from Tidewater. We right on the water. I'm a seafood guy. So Hawks was my spot for the seafood.
Okay.
Well, let's get to the fans who have been anxiously waiting. We got a few shout outs we're going to give. First of all, thank you, Lisa Rawls, for becoming a new member of this network. We greatly appreciate your support. Let's see. And Joe Edwards, do you think Daniel Hill can be running back too? I heard this on another platform. Everything I'm being told, everything I've witnessed, this kid is storming through the ranks, and he is causing heads to turn. This kid has really picked things up. He's really truly learned to be a running back. He used to be a quarterback in high school, so the transition this past year was kind of difficult. He has it figured out, and the thing is, man, no one's stopping him. So this kid might get the number 2 spot, but listen, Richard Young isn't going to lay down and let that be taken from him. So it's going to be a battle, but people are going to get touches, and Daniel Hill is going to be one of those guys. We got Ephraim joining us again. Membership, no distractions. Now let's work. All right. Crimson Dad 813. Do you think Ryan Grubb leaves after a year? Who wants to take that one?
Sure, I'll take it. Why not?
All right, take it, Marvin.
Whew. I think the first 5 games of this season will dictate Ryan Grubb's future. We come out and we're smoking hot. The team does what it's supposed to do, and the offense performs like none other. This may be his one and done campaign. If it's a bit of a struggle and, the offense has to regroup and reel things back in, he may need another year on top of this year. But ultimately, Ryan Grubb will be a head coach. It's just a matter if it's going to be after this year or in 2 to 3 years from now. But if this season comes out fast and furious, like smoking hot out the gate, I can see Ryan Grubb getting a head coaching opportunity around game 8 or game 9, because that's usually when you'll start to see teams fire their coaches and they'll start to interview their candidates. So I can actually see him being a real candidate for a lot of open coaching positions this season if that team comes out on fire.
Brian Kelly. All right. Shout out to Don Parker, who's been a member of our network for 9 months. We greatly appreciate you, Don, especially all the comments that you make each week.
Don, keeping it real, baby.
Keeping it real. Ephraim, this is for you, Phil. How were you treated at UVA coming from Bama expectations?
I'll start by saying there's only one Bama. There's only one Bama.
Like to say.
The SEC, different lifestyle, different world when it comes to college football. So there were some adjustments there. As far as how I was welcomed, as far as within the program, great. I had no complaints. My teammates welcomed me. Coach, a lot of those guys I'd either played against in high school or played with in high school. So there were a lot of relationships within the locker room already when I got there. As far as the staff, they were very welcoming. The transition became toughest when it comes to navigating the process of there wasn't a lot of communication on how this quarterback competition is going to work out. So that was the hard part of trying to navigate that. But as far as my expectations, I never expected UVA to be Bama. That set yourself up for failure. Let's be realist here. But as far as how I was welcomed and how I was treated, I had no complaints.
So they let y'all take as much ice cream from the dining hall as you allowed at Bryant Denny. Because I know we used to clean Bryant Denny out at night, baby. I mean, Bryant Hall at night, baby.
Wait, hold on, Marvin. You ate the ice cream? You were okay eating the ice cream at night?
After dinner, leaving dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the middle.
No.
Just want to make sure, because I thought
y'all ate ice cream on the field. Y'all ate ice cream on the field, Marvin.
Never mind. Keep it moving.
All right.
Let's go cover everything that was offered.
Hey, Phil. Marvin, when he was playing, the coaches pulled up an ice cream truck and they would eat on the field.
That would never happen. I would not have allowed my teammates to go out there and eat ice cream.
They used to call Marvin
their damn hands.
They used to call Marvin Butter Pecan.
Sherbert surprise.
We had no ice cream truck, but we had Smoothie King.
Oh, well. All right, before we go off the rails, Bama in 2025, this is for you, Phil. How do you think Bama is going to perform and compete this season?
We talked about it a little bit before we got on air. I think leadership is going to determine where this team goes, how far this team goes. And when I say leadership, I'm not talking about the rah-rah guys. I'm not talking about the guys giving speeches. I'm not talking about the guys that the outside world actually thinks are the leaders. I'm talking about the guys that are actually leading day in and day out in workouts, in the classroom, in practice, and in the meeting rooms. Those guys set the standard, and as long as they don't allow anybody to stray from that, this team's going to be fine. It doesn't lack for talent in any area on a team. Offensively, defensively. I know there are questions about the kicking game, but as far as offensively and defensively, this team is as talented as any team they're going to play against this year. I think the leadership and the mentality that this team sets is going to determine where this team goes.
And follow-up question kind of coincides with that. Who do you think in college football will win it all?
Is that a trick question?
They cut the lights off on him. Hey, he got the hell on. I'm like answering that.
Roll Tide, Mike drop. I said I ain't answering that.
He got the hell on. I'm like, man, I done told y'all what y'all want now. Well, I ain't answering all that. So I get it.
All right.
I don't know what happened. It just cut off on me.
Real quick before you get booted out again, who's your championship winner?
University of Alabama. And
there we go.
10 more times, I have the same answer.
All right. One last question. The illustrious Don Parker loves to ask this question of all former players. Tell us that a time Coach Saban went off that you will never forget.
Man, I got a lot of those stories, but I'm not going to throw nobody under the bus. So I'm going to use a personal story. I'm not going to throw nobody else under the bus. There was a day in practice. I was on scout team, so this was my true freshman year. Threw a pass, and I forgot who the defensive end was. He came around the end, he beat the tackle, and after I threw the ball, he grabbed my arm and kind of pulled it backwards. And everybody know, you see the black jersey in practice, don't touch it, don't come near it, especially don't touch the throwing arm. And he did it, and I lost it. Like, I felt like I could feel my arm coming out the socket. And I lost my entire mind. And I took my helmet off with my left hand, and I went after the guy with it. And Coach Smart is livid. He is lighting me up. Don't you ever do that. I mean, he is lighting me up. And Coach Saban is standing there. And I look at Coach Saban, and I look back at Coach Smart, and I start going back at Coach Smart. Control your guy then. Like, I'm going off at Coach Smart. And Coach Saban kind of jumps in the middle, and he is like, don't you ever in your life talk to another coach like that. And I mean, he is lighting me up in the middle of practice. He said, I got to control my guys, but you got to control yourself. You lost your composure. How you lose your composure? You're the quarterback. You can't do it. I mean, he is lighting me up in the middle of practice. And then he just stops and walks away and says, move the ball down the field. Next play. Like that never happened. And I never heard about that situation ever again. Like, so like he lit me up for 5 minutes straight. And then he let it go. And that was it. Like, that was Coach Saban in a nutshell. The highest of highs, the lowest of lows. He would rip you a new one for 5 minutes straight. And then he come give you a hug.
Short-term memory, baby.
I'm telling you, he taught you. He taught you. He would light you up, and then he come put his arm around you 5 minutes later and act like that never happened. That's nice. Coach Saban in a nutshell.
So you were going to pull a Myles Garrett before Myles Garrett did that, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I took off. I could literally feel my shoulder coming apart when he pulled it. And I was like, oh, between the pain and the anger, I didn't know what to do. And the first thing I could do was take my helmet off, and I wanted to throw it, but it was in my left hand. And I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not too good at throwing with the left. I wanted to throw it, and he just, between him and Coach Smart, let me have it and moved on. I was like, I just knew I was going to be in 6 a.m. workouts every day. I just knew I was going to be running after practice. And he never said another word about it.
That's awesome. All right. We have reached the end of our show. We did a little bit of overtime tonight, but that's what we do when we have great content like this. Where else can you get it? So what we're going to do now is give everyone on the panel an opportunity to tell the folks how they can be found on social media. We'll let our guests go last. So Marvin, if you would, you go first, and then Pettey and Phil will go last.
Yeah, I'm not hard to find. You can find me on Instagram, Constant45. You can find me on X, Constant451. Real easy to find.
Pettey?
There you go. Pettey. Pettey _ Daniel on the X. Also, man, always representing B-Sci-Fi great Kevin Jackson, the K7 for ALS Foundation on the hat. Don't forget about that. They're a big friend of the program. So, yeah, always here. And I'll be on in another 30 minutes with the final whistle, guys. God knows what'll go down there.
Absolutely. Phil, man, long time coming, but it was definitely worth the wait. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and opening up, sharing your journey. It was truly powerful. We're grateful. Before you head out, tell the folks how they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. I'm easy to find. Twitter, Instagram, or X as they call it now. Not a big social media guy, but if you're looking to follow me and looking for any content that I do post, you can find me at Coach Phil Sims 1 on X and Instagram.
Sounds great. And if you're not too busy during the season, we love to have you back and help us break down some things. So if you're willing.
Year, so I'll definitely have a little bit more free time on my hands this year. So I look forward to it. I appreciate
absolutely
you guys having me. Great experience. Great talking to you guys. And looking forward to a successful season for Bama.
Yes, sir. Well, you're a family now, man. So we fully expect to see you a lot. But thank you so much. Hey, thank you to everyone who was with us tonight. We greatly appreciate all the feedback we've gotten. And we're not done yet. We're 18 days away. Things are about to fire up for real. But you'll see us next Tuesday night. Until then, roll tide.
Roll tide.